Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today we're doing a sacred soul song activation. So what this is actually based off of something that I created a while ago and is available through the shop on my website. The link is in the description box below if you're interested in checking that out. But essentially it's a subliminal reprogramming and energetic activation that I recorded several months ago, and Spirit called me to connect to that energy recently for myself, and it even started coming up in client sessions as well that I've been having this week. And I wanted to create a reading around that topic to kind of look into what your sacred soul song actually is, because the activation is to allow you to connect to your authenticity and to express yourself as your divine self, really, in this world in a very authentic, empowered, and individualistic way that supports the whole and the unity that we all are. So we have three options here today. We've got the groups as you see them before you with the cards face down. We also have the indicator cards from the image for this video. We have group number 1 with the sun, group number 2 with door to romance, and group number 3 with the solar plexus chakra and Archangel Shamuel. So go ahead and choose the card or the pile that resonates with you and use the timestamps linked in the description box below to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings. If you do feel called to more than one, take that as a message that your intuition is guiding you to the readings that will have the pertinent messages meant for you. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. Enjoy your readings. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your Sacred Soul Song reading. Let's take a look at your cards and see what your divine expression actually looks like and how to be that, how to do that, how to express that. Please excuse my fingernails in this reading. It's been a busy week. I haven't had a chance to get them done. Yeah, so let's focus on the cards, not my hands. You have the 6 of Wands to start out your reading. Beautiful, victorious, successful. I'm feeling leadership is a big part of your Sacred Soul Song. I'm also seeing the diamond here in this card particularly. This was the deck that called to me. This was one of the imagery that Spirit wanted to use. So the diamond here really, I'm hearing the word flawless. I'm also seeing the energy of individuality, fractal expression, purity, strength, and rarity. Ooh, yes, rarity. And that's why there's this energy of being a leader or being a victor or even being sought after here. Okay, so let's keep going. You have the 5 of Swords. This one's kind of giving me leadership energy as well, strangely enough. Usually the 5 of Swords is kind of more about conflict and ego misunderstandings and winning at all costs, but I'm actually seeing it here as kind of like taking the lead in a conversation and getting to the core or to the root of what the actual underlying issues are. So you may have part of your Sacred Soul Song is being in a leadership position that involves some kind of communication, perhaps. Let's keep going here. You have the Hanged Fae. Okay, so I'm feeling like you maybe have had a bit of a hard time stepping into this role. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm feeling anyway. You've had a hard time stepping into this role. I'm also seeing that you've had a hard time seeing your own beauty, group number 1. They're drawing my attention to the flowers in this card, and they're making me think of beauty and delicateness. But it's interesting because that's juxtaposed to the delicateness of these flowers is very contrasting to the hardness of the diamond. I mean, even on, the most hardness scale, the diamond is one of the hardest. So I get the sense that there's maybe this sort of inner conflict even around really being your true self, because there's a side of you that's very soft and delicate. Even in this card, the bubbles, the bubbles, they're so easily popped, but you can't pop a diamond. So it feels like there's these two sides of you perhaps that have been kind of pitted against one another or not fully integrated. But let's keep going. Oh, I love that you have the sun and you chose the indicator, the indicator card, which I don't actually have the physical deck for. I want to get the energy oracle cards. I just haven't yet, but I use the app on my phone. I have the Energy Oracle app, and I pulled 3 cards for each one of the groups as significators, and it was the sun for you. It's a different card, it's a different deck, one's tarot, one's oracle, but it's the same energy. It's like you're bright, you have power within you, and there's this innocence. So again, I'm kind of getting like the inner child, maybe that delicate flower or that beautiful bubble, but there's this strength to you as well, because the sun is extremely powerful and it promotes growth. It's fire energy. 6 of Wands is fire too. So I get the sense that there's a lot of determination, leadership, passion, very powerful qualities. Because when I think of the sun too, it's ruled by Leo. Or the sun rules Leo, I should say. And Leo is very, comfortable being in the spotlight, comfortable being in positions of leadership or power. Similar to Aries, I'm getting Aries energy from the 6 of Wands, Leo energy from the sun. That doesn't have to apply to you personally based on your natal chart. It's just the energy archetypes that I'm feeling here. So I get the sense that you are very much here to be in a position of leadership, authority, communication. It's kind of like showing people the way, but you've kind of had to do this by figuring out how to lead yourself, I think is a big part of your soul mission and your soul song in this lifetime is how to figure out your own needs and how to balance those sides of yourself so that you can show up for other people in a way that's very authentic and commanding, but at the same time compassionate, delicate, soft. So there's a purity to it. It is not It's not authoritative. Wait, which one is it? It's not authoritarian. It's authoritative. Yeah, so you're assertive, not aggressive. You are compassionate and caring, yet dominant. You are, the archetypal leader. That's really what I get from your soul song. But let's get your oracle cards. You have talk about your feelings. Tell a friend how you feel. So tell a friend how you feel. I feel like even with Leo energy, it's very, very emotive, almost dramatic in a sense, but in the best possible way. So when you're in a leadership position, you do have to be very clear about how you communicate your feelings. The 5 of Swords is communication. So I think that, speaking about feelings, clarifying feelings, or being in a position where you can lead from a very heart-centered place is going to be really important to your soul expression. Oh, interesting. You have new partner. A chance meeting is no mistake. It is divinely orchestrated as a catalyst to set the wheels in motion for the fruition of your prayers. Pay careful attention to new people we send into your life. You will recognize them by your sense of familiarity, comfort, and safety. So this could have to do, your sacred soul song could have to do with your relationships with other people and how you balance that with the relationship with yourself. How do you heal and protect your inner child and yet still show up in a compassionate way for others, and at the same time be in a leadership position where you can feel victorious, where you can feel stable, secure within yourself, and at the same time be able to maybe lovingly guide others through what you're speaking about, whether it's talking about your feelings, talking about their feelings. It could be romance or relationship, almost like somebody who helps to support other people in healing their relationship with themselves and by extension others. But I feel like there's been resistance to this. If this is something that you're called to do, it feels like maybe you've had some resistance to it, stepping into this leadership position or being seen in this way. Maybe you don't feel like you're qualified. Maybe you don't feel like you have the chops. I just heard Spirit just used that phrase. You don't have the chops to be able to do this, but I think you do. I think that if you've only seen the soft side of you, there is a very hard side of you that's very pure and very valuable, and that can be utilized within the context of this soul expression and of your sacred divine self, because that's what your soul song is. It's the frequency that you emit. It is what you are here to share with the world. It's the note that contributes to the choir of life, the orchestra, and the symphony that we're all here creating together. So when you are in alignment with that core note, you become a contributing factor to the beauty of this world. So talking about your feelings, especially as it relates to romance or relationships in general, I think is going to be important for you. And you have be in service, yeah. that's just very, very spot on with what I was just kind of talking about there. It's like, how can you be in service? But in this context, it's really about you being in alignment with yourself. It's really about you being in that internal authority where you feel in control, where you feel a sense of compassion and understanding for yourself. You are the loving parent to your inner child. You are the loving leader or guide for others and their inner children or their hearts. That's really what I feel. It's very heart-centered energy that I'm getting from your reading, group number 1. And so you're meant to be a shining light of that heart-centered courage and compassion and kindness. Real earth angel here, for sure. Definitely. And they're drawing my attention to the horns on these two. So we have the unicorn, obviously, with the horn, but then we have this sea goddess with some horns on her head as well. Oh, and look at that. Even the seahorse has a horn. It's like a unicorn seahorse, a seacorn. Yeah. So anyway, I just get the sense that you're using your perception to your advantage in your soul expression. So when I look at the unicorn horn, first it makes me think of purity. It makes me think of directed intention and will, which is very much about that Leo archetype and the Aries archetype and the ability to take action and move forward. But it also makes me think of the third eye chakra. So really being able to see things clearly and to interpret also, not just see things clearly, but to interpret them accurately, and then to communicate that and to be of service to other people in this way. I feel like part of your soul song is about nurturing. I mean, we don't have any other cards here specifically speaking of nurturing, but that's the energy I'm getting. So it's a leadership position that puts you in a nurturing type of role. I'm getting very much like motherly and fatherly energy here. So whether that's the actual expression that your soul has chosen to be itself through, if you're a parent, or if this is a role that you've taken on at a larger community level, or within your business, or with your clients, or something like that. I just get the sense that there is a role of nurturing involved in your sacred soul expression. And it has to do with feelings, it has to do with love, it has to do with communication. It definitely has to do with leadership. So you're in a position to be of service through how you're able to communicate, express, hold space for, and provide support and guidance for individuals who are within your sphere, within your world. Either directly or indirectly. Yeah, either directly or indirectly. So I feel as though you're stepping into a big part of your life right now, group number 1, where you're kind of being called into a leadership position if you aren't already. And there may even be a new business partner that's kind of in the offings or who has just presented themselves to you. So you might be stepping into a new role in service to others in a way that you haven't before, because this partner is kind of prompting you into this new stage, and you're kind of coming down from the inactivity that you were in before. Maybe you were just in contemplation mode, or you were unsure of where to go or what to do. But I feel like everything you've been through has been part of the process of you learning about yourself and about others, and how those two pieces of the puzzle fit together so that you can actually step into this leadership position and be this nurturing, caring, loving, compassionate guide for others, whether it's through what you're actually doing for them, practically, emotionally, or, communication-wise, or how you being yourself inspires others and provides that support indirectly. Either way, you're being of service. Either way, you're shining your light. Look at these rays of light, the light beams coming from the sun, even down into the water. They pierce through the surface, the density. They're able to make their way into the darker realms. So your sacred soul song is really here to shine the light into the darker aspects, or the hidden, even maybe the unconscious, because that third eye does make me think of the subconscious mind. So you might be doing this through your imagination. You might be doing this through your ability to channel. You might be doing this through your ability to just be yourself. I think if it's not any of those very highly spiritual or psychic applications, then it's really just about you being yourself. And that is the light that this world needs. And that is what is going to help to resolve any disputes as well. Because I'm seeing that you're a great mediator, group number 1. You're able to communicate in a way that's very grounded, accepting, understanding. So if there's people who are having disputes with each other, you're able to mediate and mitigate a lot of that tension or aggression in a very loving way that creates forward movement. So instead of getting caught up in the details or the minutia or the conflicts of the back and forth and the duality of he said, she said, or something along those lines, you're actually able to step in and say, well, did you look at it from this broader perspective where you're both right, and here's where things are not working? Or where maybe each one is lacking understanding, and here's how we can have more compassion and come together in a productive way. That's what I'm seeing here as well. So a lot of your sacred soul song is very much about your communication ability. So throat chakra and third eye are highlighted here, but also heart chakra, solar plexus. Really, we can't isolate it to just one. We do have divine soul blueprints, and we do have primary and secondary energies. But when it comes to how you use and express your sacred soul vibration, it's going to go through all the chakras, really. But I get the sense that a lot of it is heart-centered communication. That's really the main core theme of what I see here, and how you're able to see beyond the duality or see beyond the darkness or the shadows to be able to illuminate and expand people's understandings of themselves, of you, of their own feelings, and of their interpersonal relationships. Yeah, that's really what I see for you, group number 1. So keep shining your light. If you're interested in getting the Sacred Soul Song activation, it is available for $11.11 Canadian. It is yours to purchase, and then you can reuse it and listen to it as many times as you want. Basically, it is an energy activation that awakens you to your natural soul frequency and helps you to express that in an empowered way going forward. So I will leave the link to that in the description box below. My website is itstarotandbeyond.com. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your energy contributing to the reading. Thank you for allowing me to tap into your sacred soul song and reflect this back to you. I hope that it resonated and supported you in empowered service in this lifetime and being this divine light that you are. Thank you so much, guys. I love you and appreciate you, and we will see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your Sacred Soul Song activation reading. So let's take a look at your cards to get an idea of what your Sacred Soul Song is, how to express it, and we'll talk a bit about the activation as well. Please excuse my fingernails. I have had a busy week and have not had a chance to do my nails, so they are naked right now. Let's take a look at your cards. You have the King of Swords starting off your reading. Ooh, I'm getting a lot of power here. A lot of like cold, rigid power, actually. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, although I am getting the word cruel. So I'm not jumping to conclusions about what this applies to your Sacred Soul Song. I think this could be something different. So let's get the full reading for the full message before we jump to any conclusions. I don't think it's a negative thing in the context of the whole reading. You have the Knight of Wands. Ooh, the volcanoes are really drawing my attention in this card. It feels like something erupting. And when I think of volcanoes, and I'm also seeing in this card, it's like the glaciers in the background makes me think like when there's an avalanche or the glaciers, they break apart and they fall. It's like that can seem like it's cruel because it's like a chaotic type of power. That's kind of what I'm getting from your reading, is like a chaotic power. And humans living in the vicinity of a volcano might see that as like cruel. The land is cruel, or the environment is hostile, or, fate has not been kind. But it's just nature being nature. So I feel like there's a strength and a power to you, group number 2, that it can come off a little bit almost harsh. in that sense, but I want to get the rest of your cards. They're drawing my attention to the fact that the significator card chosen for you was the door to romance. So I'm very interested to see how this fits into the rest of your cards and your reading. Oh, temperance, beautiful, look at that. So temperance is about balance. So it's like bringing the romance and the gentleness and the compassion back to some of this aggressive type of energy. It's not like consciously aggressive. It's just that there's a power to it that's unrestricted, or there's a power to it that can come off a little bit harsh. But temperance can help to, well, temper that, right? It can help to balance it out. It can help to alchemize. It can help to even transmute some of the lower or shadow aspects of that energy. So I feel like your sacred soul song activation is, first of all, very powerful, very, very powerful. But there is some aspect of it that kind of needs to be balanced here with the love side of it, so that it doesn't become too harsh. And you have strength. Yeah, very, very powerful. Very powerful, you guys. Oh my God. It's just like the strength and the force almost that you have at soul level is extremely, it can be corrosive, is what Spirit just said. That's why you have to use it wisely. It's like hot magma, right? Or lava. When it comes up to the surface, it can be corrosive. It's powerful at transmuting. It's powerful. It creates too, like when lava, it flows out, it can create islands. All of the the Hawaiian Islands are all built out of these eruptions, but it can be chaotic if not kind of given free space, or to have those boundaries in place to allow it to flow naturally, and then to just do what it needs to do. Same thing with glaciers, right? Like we don't want to build homes underneath glaciers. We don't want to build homes underneath volcanoes that are active, because doesn't make sense for stability. But if given enough space, they can be productive in the sense that these glaciers can help to like carve out the land, or they can help to release things back into the environment, is what they're showing me. I don't really know how that works. I took an earth science class in university, but I don't remember much about glaciers, or even volcanoes for that matter. But I just get the sense that there's danger if it's not given the space that it needs, because it's so strong that it can be a little chaotic at times. And I love that you have 3 dragons in your reading. Yes, I was called to the dragon deck. But the fairy deck has this dragon here as well in strength. So you've got like the strength of a dragon, really. And again, that's very, very powerful. That's why it needs to be tempered. It can be aggressive. It can be chaotic, right? A dragon doesn't necessarily mean to wreck the village, but because it's so big and it's so powerful, it doesn't know its own strength sometimes. So that's where temperance comes in. It's like the grace to be able to lovingly control your own power. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at your oracle cards now, group 2. You have decide. It's time to clearly make a decision about what you want. Deciding how to use your power, how to direct it, what is safest, how to temper it, what choices you need to actively be making to create more balance in the expression of your soul and your gift, because you're very, very gifted, group number 2. It needs to be tempered. You have fresh air. Your body needs refreshment from oxygenated air generated by grass, trees, plants, and flowers. Spend time outside today as near to Mother Nature's cradle as possible. Open your curtains and windows to refresh your home as well. I get the sense of like taking care of yourself from this card. It's like giving yourself the time to be able to care for your needs, to fill your own cup, to provide for yourself in a way that's going to maybe prevent these eruptions from happening. Maybe there's anger, maybe there's just a lot of emotion or will that needs to be channeled productively. Yeah, I just heard that the phrase loose cannon, like you may be a little bit of a loose cannon sometimes, especially if your needs are not being met or you're not prioritizing those things. If things get out of balance, then it's going to show up in your behavior, in your mindset, in your attitude, in your interactions with other people, or even in your capacity to kind of direct your will in a constructive way, productive way. I think that's why decide is here too, because it's like, how are you using your will? Because I see that you have a ton of will, group 2. Your sacred soul song is all about your will. It's fiery, it's passionate, it's driven, it's powerful, it's strong, it's grounded. I'm getting air, earth, and fire from this. Not a lot of water here, but again, that's why it needs to be tempered with the water from temperance. The emotional aspect, the door to romance, the open and compassionate heart needs to temper some of these other more aggressive or rigid or chaotic types of elements when we're looking at, air, fire, and earth. Clear out the old. The number 5 really standing out to me here. So I feel like this is a change that you're going through right now to embody this divine gift in a constructive way. Yeah, I get the sense that it's time for you to decide to prioritize how you're going to express yourself authentically. And what does that look like constructively? Because they keep giving me the word constructive. How can you be constructive rather than destructive? And that was the example, wasn't it? With like the lava. Sorry, some motorcycles just went by really loudly, but that was the example with the lava about, it can be very destructive or it can be constructive in the right circumstances or contexts. And then I was thinking about the motorcycles going by. I'm like, well, that was a little bit disruptive, right? They're loud and aggressive. But then I was also thinking about the other side of it, where motorcycles are very efficient. They don't use a lot of gas. They go really quickly. But you do need to be very responsible with them because you're more exposed, you're more vulnerable in that sense. And I get the sense that that's kind of what your strength is here. You're not vulnerable in the sense that you can get hurt. It's just that it's almost like you're vulnerable in the sense that you may accidentally hurt yourself or other people in your desire to do or to express yourself or to just be in your power, because you're meant to be powerful. I mean, you're not even meant to be powerful, group 2. You are powerful. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It is what it is, right? It's like you're a force of nature. You're a force to be reckoned with here, but it's deciding how to use that, because it can be very destructive or it can be constructive. It's almost giving me like Kali vibes, like the goddess Kali. It's destruction that can be productive. And that's what clearing out the old is making me think of here too. It's productively destroying things in a way that will build for the future. So your sacred soul song is really about finding a balance here, striking a balance with temperance, striking a balance between destruction and construction, and how that looks for you, and how you can express that in the world, and deciding what that looks like for you. I think that it's very much about your free will, because it's all about your power and your will, and so again, it's like, how do you want to use it? How do you see this being the most constructive? And it's a little bit of trial and error. Temperance can speak of just experimenting and trying things out, trying to find the right balance. They're also showing me when you have hot tea that's too hot, it'll burn you. Right? Like, I want that tea, it's delicious, but if I drink it too quickly and I'm not responsible, I'm not patient, because temperance can also speak of patience. If I'm not patient with that, I'm going to burn myself. And again, it's like the energy of the Knight of Wands. It can be a bit rash if it's being impatient. And that's where I think the power can kind of get off the chains a little bit, or, a little bit off the reins. But if you pour tea from one cup into another back and forth, like she's pouring here in the Temperance card, you actually cool it down, because you're exposing the surface area of the liquid to the air, and the flow of the air current helps to temper that heat and release some of that heat. So using air, using your mind to find a solution. You've got to decide to find this solution and cool it down somehow. create more balance there. That is what's going to be your true strength. The strength is not in your force of will. The strength is in your grace to be able to use that will constructively, responsibly, compassionately. And it's really wisdom that is at the core of that choice, because they're showing me the owl here in this card. So I feel like it's a matter of learning through your experiences, because the clock in the background makes me think of time. The keyhole to the heart makes me think of that door to romance. Quite literally, that was the significator you chose, group 2, that's the thing. So it's, how do you open your heart to be able to temper and cool down some of these more rash expressions of your soul, because it's very powerful, but you have to have the wisdom to be able to use that in an effective way so that you don't hurt yourself or others accidentally. I feel like grounding would be helpful for you guys. The fresh air is making me think of that, but also them kind of walking around outside on the grass. I just get the sense that if you tend to be hot-spirited, let's call it that, if you tend to be hot-spirited, passionate, fiery, dynamic, forceful, willful, anything like that, grounding is going to be helpful to kind of release some of those emotions. I'm seeing martial arts. Maybe some of you are really powerful in your physical body and your expression, and it's kind of the same concept as martial arts. Like if you're going to be doing they're showing me a black belt. I think this is just a metaphor, but if it applies directly, then great. But I'm just getting the sense that it's kind of like if you learn to use your body as a weapon, you have to be responsible with that. And that's why the highest level of black belts who are trained in that martial art, in karate, they will not use it because they understand that they are a weapon. They understand that it is not to be used from the ego, or it is not to be used flippantly. It is a great responsibility that comes with that power. And that's why it's really important that you be peaceful. And I'm getting the quote, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. It's good to have this power and strength and not need to use it in that way, because it can be destructive, and it is within your free will about how you choose to use this power. So it's important that you're responsible with that. So your Sacred Soul Song Activation Group 2, really, really powerful. I'm kind of blown away by this. And it just needs to be balanced. It just needs to be tempered. It needs to, through grace, through compassion, through love, be used and expressed in a way that is constructive for yourself and others, so that you're not kind of being perceived as harsh or cruel or aggressive, and instead you're being seen as constructive and supportive. And you at the same time are not bending to the will of others. You are still within your power. You are still within your authentic expression, and you don't lose anything by being more compassionate, more graceful. You actually gain something by being that, because you are stepping into your more authentic power. Because the greatest truth in this universe is love. And if you are aligned with love, if you have an open heart, it can temper anything. It can balance anything. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is compassionate. Love is gentle. And it takes great strength and responsibility to be gentle. Like the dragon, the kind dragon, the gentle giant. He has great strength, but with great control, he can be gentle. But he needs to learn to master his own strength. That's the example I'm getting here for you, Group 2. It's learning to master your power. That's what you're here to do and to be. And that is going to be very constructive and supportive. It's just about deciding how you're going to go about doing that. Because there's open doorways here. I see it here in Decide. You got this archway leading into this very calm garden. Looks very serene. You have the doorway or the lock here in the heart of this card that we looked at before, and then your main significator is door to romance. So I get the sense that there's a door opening up for you. There's a new pathway that's available, and it's up to you to decide if you're going to walk through it. Are you going to gracefully use this power responsibly? And do you trust yourself to be able to do that? Maybe you're scared of your own power because maybe in the past it has shown itself to be destructive in some way. to yourself or others. Sometimes what we fear most is the power of our power, but I get the sense that this mastery that you are stepping into is actually going to give you much greater intuitive sense of yourself, and then you'll be better able to use that power wisely. And now they're showing me in my mind's eye Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, both very, very powerful. And one chose the destructive route with that power because of the pain that was unresolved in regard to his relationships and his own fears and his own shadow. One chose the other path, chose to be responsible with his power, to use it in a compassionate, constructive way, to protect, to guide, to liberate. So I feel like there's these two aspects within you, group 2, and again, 2 is 1 and 1, and you're trying to strike a balance between those two, because you know the strongest Jedi is the Jedi who has mastered their dark side, and that's what you're here to do. So that's what I see for you, group 2. You're here to master your shadow. You're here to master your power, and you're here to, through grace, compassion, and love, use that power constructively. So if you're interested in getting the Sacred Soul Song activation, it is available on my website. The link is in the description box. My website is itstarotandbeyond.com, and the Soul Song activation is only $11.11 Canadian, so it's very affordable, and you will have it forever. You can come back to it again and again. You can listen to it at night before bed, or first thing in the morning when you wake up, or whenever you feel called to it. It is an energy activation, so it does activate the energy body to be able to unlock these aspects of your soul in an empowered and productive way. It also helps to reprogram the subconscious mind to support you in reconnecting to your oneness, your divine expression, and your personal empowerment here in the world. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate you watching the reading and contributing your energy to this expression here that I'm seeing. I have so much appreciation and respect for your strength and your power, group number 2. So I see that you will decide to use this wisely in a way that serves you at soul level. So that is what I see. Thanks so much, guys. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your Sacred Soul Song activation. Let's take a look at your cards and see what your Sacred Soul Song is, how to express it, and then we'll talk about the activation as well. And please excuse my fingernails. It's been a busy week and I haven't had a chance to do them thus far. So you have the 9 of Wands starting out your reading. Interesting energy. I feel like there's some kind of an ascension happening in regard to your soul expression. You also have the King of Coins. Ooh, he's like winding around this tree. So I'm again getting this energy of ascension. I'm feeling almost like Kundalini fire, Kundalini activation. I'm getting healing from this as well. It's reminding me of the, I can't remember, it's the Asclepius. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Caduceus is the Hermes and communication, and the Asclepius is to do with healing, health, medicine. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think I'm getting the Asclepius there. So you have the Knight of Cups. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting an energy of healing from you guys. And the King of Wands. Very interesting cards. Okay, well, we also have some oracle cards, but I kind of just want to tune into these for a second. Yeah, I'm seeing expansion, I'm seeing ascension, I'm seeing a rise of some kind. So your Sacred Soul Song is very much about how you're able to raise your consciousness through some kind of healing or construction, building. It's like either physically building yourself a way to get higher, like maybe through business, or through, maybe it's like building your body up so that you can be better able to express yourself and be healthy, think clearly, do things you want to be doing. Or it could be spiritually that you're kind of building yourself rungs on this ladder of ascension, and how you're able to take your consciousness higher, and by extension heal yourself and create probably physical wealth as well. So I think these are all kind of tied together now that I'm, channeling it through. It does feel like these are all tied together. So your physical health, your financial security, and ascension in terms of your spirituality, those are all connected here. So your sacred soul song is really being able to balance all of those and have those work cohesively together so that you can build for the future. I'm feeling like this tree in the King of Coins is like the tree of life. So it is like this expansion of consciousness. It is the stability and the rootedness, and it's the connection to all things, and being able to bloom and grow. I'm seeing a lot of growth here as well. So healing and growth, they kind of go hand in hand. Ascension makes me think of growth as well. So, because they're showing me the flower here in the Knight of Cups, it's like, the plants, they grow, they blossom, they bloom, they grow up towards the sun, making me think of ascension as well. And they need to be healthy. They have to have a clean environment to do that. Same thing with the fungi here. They grow really quickly. Mushrooms are one of the fastest growing plant material that there are. I mean, can we even classify them as plants? But it's just like this healing energy that it's really expanding. Oh, and when I think of the lotus here, I know these are water lilies, but it makes me think of a lotus, and the mushrooms also. Both of these traditionally throughout history have been used for psychedelic expansion. So there's something about consciousness expansion. It doesn't have to be about the substances used to do that. Although if that's something that's part of your business or part of your building here in this world, then that could apply. But I'm just seeing it more as like the ascension of consciousness. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at your oracle cards. I'm really curious to see. You'll know in the morning. When you wake up, you'll have a better idea of what to do. Relax until then. You'll know in the morning. Okay, you have heart chakra. Love is the heart of the matter. Your heart is the center within your physical being, attuned most to love. It's safe for you to love and be loved with an open heart as we stand by with perfect protection and guidance. It's beautiful. Love is definitely a factor here. You've got the heart chakra and the Knight of Cups. So it's a very heart-centered core. And when I think of health and healing and growth and even ascension, a lot of the information on ascension is getting to the 5D. There's many dimensions above that, but the 5th dimension is really kind of like the bridge between the lower dimensional realms, like the 3rd and 4th dimension, and the upper. So we have to go through the sort of transition stage of the 5th dimension to be able to access these higher realms of consciousness and therefore to ascend. And it's through the heart chakra. That's where the 5th dimension is embodied energetically, and it's therefore created because we are conscious creators. What we do, what we embody, what we feel, what we believe in, what we trust, is what we create. So I get the sense that your heart chakra is a big pivotal, energy within your sacred soul song, and the expression of it through how you heal, how you grow, and how you ascend your consciousness, and maybe support others in doing the same thing is really, really important. And you'll know in the morning is making me think of like dream time, doing dream time work. So you might even be doing healing, emotional healing, or physical healing through the subconscious mind. Again, they're taking me back to those psychedelic substances. Psyche and delos in Greek is mind-made material, or mind made into matter, mind manifest, basically. So you're kind of like showing yourself the deeper layers of the subconscious so that you can ascend from those lower levels of consciousness into the higher ones and heal, because that's how you ascend, is through the healing, through reintegration, through awareness, through compassion, through love. That raises your frequency, it raises your vibration. Let's take a look at your last oracle card. You have ideal course of action. This is definitely the ideal course of action. Again, I'm seeing the pathway leading to the castle, so it's like an ascension process. This lizard here on the head always makes me think of like the shadow self, the fear brain, because it's like the the reptilian aspect of our mind, which is like the lower brainstem, and it's just very much focused on like fight or flight responses, fear rather than compassion. It's like survival rather than being able to thrive and collaborate. So I get the sense that you're on a path right now, which is the ideal course. You're on the right track, group number 3. You're doing what you need to be doing. If you're making any major decisions right now and you're kind of sleeping on it to ascertain whether this is the right course for you, know that it is. Trust your heart. Really, trust your heart to guide you. Whatever it is that you're working on building. You have 2 kings in your reading, King of Wands, King of Pentacles. These are both very, very physically oriented based energies that want to build, they want to expand, they want to create something, whether it's in the consciousness realms or in the physical or both. I think, again, it's both for you. So I feel as though you're creating a lot of stability by healing yourself and by building something in the process of doing that. So it could be a business, it could be a career, it could be just your soul expanding and ascending. That is building something. You're building a legacy of the soul. You're working on freeing yourself from past fears and restrictions and limitations of that unconscious mind and working more consciously with it so that you can expand through love. Love is the heart of the matter. It's the center of your being. And it's there to help you to continue to expand. So focusing on your heart center is going to be one of the main keys to unlock your soul song. Group number 3, you're meant to be a heart-centered being. You're meant to be on this ascension process, which you are. If you were called to this reading, you either are already conscious of this and you're already taking the steps to do this, or you are just learning about it now, but it rings true. And you've already started to see some of the progress of that in your life in maybe more tertiary ways, but it all comes back to the core center of this, the crux, which is your heart. Yeah, I see you going through some kind of a cycle too, group 3. They're showing me the dandelions and the different life cycles that they're in. Like there's some that are just blooming, they haven't opened yet. There's some that are open. There's some that are kind of on the way out. And there's one that's, in that seed form. So I feel like there's different cycles in your life that you're witnessing or that you have witnessed, and how that applies to what you're wanting to build or grow or what your wishes are. Because the dandelions do make me think of your wishes and what your goals are, what you desire to see and experience. You know what I never noticed in this card is that there's a whole bunch of people kind of lined up here leading up to the castle. And the heart chakra is to do with our relationships with other people. So if fear has blocked you from connecting to other people in a really intimate, vulnerable, authentic way, I get the sense that part of your sacred soul song is opening up and healing yourself so that you can find a sense of belonging through your community, so that you can be brave and courageous enough to understand that you deserve a spot. And some ways or some way, shape, or form, that spot is in a stable position, in a powerful position. It's in the castle. It's protected, it's safe, it's a community. There's equality there, but there's also a sense of betterment. It's like continuing to better your circumstances, desiring to better your circumstances, and being surrounded with people who resonate and understand that, and they aren't coming from that fear-based place anymore. So being ambitious, I think, is part of this as well, and honoring that this can be done compassionately, because I think sometimes we may skew or have negative connotations of ambition and see it as like ruthlessness or stepping on the backs of other people to get ahead in life. But when you're doing it from a heart-centered, ascended level consciousness, ambition is actually very constructive and can help you and others to grow and to become better. Because what you embody for yourself, so if you desire, this castle in the sky, and this community of peers or admirers or supportive family or whatever it happens to be, the energy of that is, if it's in alignment for you, is going to help other people to access that same thing, because you're a creator of your reality. And the reality that you embody and create becomes accessible energetically. It's like a station that you've created on the radio of the world. Other people can tune into that if they are looking for it. and if they resonate with it. And it helps them. Sometimes you listen to a song on the radio and it just inspires you, it fills you with joy, it comforts you, it soothes your soul. That's kind of what I'm seeing here, is that when you guys step into your ambition and you are on this path of ascension and healing and building for the future, that is when you are going to inspire others to do the same. And that is the contribution that you're making to the world. So your own ambitions actually are for others, in the sense that what you heal and create and heal, what you heal, I said heal twice, but it's a big emphasis on healing, guys. So it was an accident that I said it, but it really wasn't. It was a Freudian slip. You guys, there's a lot of emphasis here on healing. And so the more you heal in yourself and the more that you build as a result of that healing, the easier you're making it for other people to do the same thing, whether or not you've ever met them. It's like just you being yourself gives that access point to other people. And I hit the candle when I said access. So I think you guys are activators. Activators at soul level are, so for example, I'm an activator. That's why I was called to do this reading and do this kind of work on YouTube and to work with people directly. I used to do group energy activations, and the whole reason that I was inspired to do this reading is because I was called by Spirit to create that soul song activation. So what activators are basically we're like light switches that can, or like candles that can light others, right? And so what we have and what we embody is a frequency. It's a very specific frequency. And because as activators, what we do is unlock that frequency in others if they are ready to do that, right? Like we don't activate people who don't want to be activated. First of all, it just wouldn't work. But second of all, that wouldn't be a good thing to do, right? Based on the free will consent of the individual or of their soul path. So it's not something we can force. It's just something that we tend to attract people. So you, group 3, may tend to attract people that are at a similar frequency to you or going through similar circumstances, but you may be a couple steps ahead and you're able to activate them to get to that next step that's in their progress, right? And you're helping them to build just through an interaction with you. So you don't even have to teach them anything or do anything for them. It's just them interacting with your energy, like just looking in your eyes, shaking your hand, hearing your voice, being physically in your presence. Those are all activations. So as an activator, that is something you can do. And if you do this more consciously and intentionally, especially if you're doing it with love, which comes from the truth and the core of your being, then you help to build others up, and in the process you're building yourself up as well, because you are acknowledging and accepting this responsibility of being an activator. And so it becomes a process of, how do I embody the highest frequency? Because I know that everybody who I'm interacting with is going to get activated in some way, shape, or form if that's something that their soul has consented to. So it's like a personal responsibility to stand in alignment. And they're giving me the word liable. That's interesting. Ooh, a big hawk just flew by outside the window. Hawks are the bridge between worlds. And liable makes me think of like liability. Like you don't want to be a liability. You don't want to have things go wrong. So again, this is where the responsibility comes in. And I think why it's like, being very... I can't think of another word for it. Just being very responsible with this power is important. It's kind of similar to group 2, but different. This energy is vastly different. But it's really about responsibility, compassion, love, the intention behind what you're doing, and the awareness of that can really help to liberate people, because if they are looking for an out or looking for an access point to ascend, then they'll be attracted to you. There was actually a situation where this happened earlier this week. I went to the beach with some friends on Canada Day because it was Canada Day weekend this weekend. And to those of you who are in the States, happy 4th of July weekend. I know we have our celebrations on the same weekend because it's July 1st and July 4th. But it was interesting because I was called to play a round of like this beanbag tossing game with some gentlemen who happened to sit next to us. And one of the one of the guys asked me what I do, and I'm a professional psychic medium, and I read tarot on the internet, and I work with clients, and I do energy healing. And he's like, that's so crazy. I literally had 3 conversations this week with people talking about spirituality out of nowhere. I've never thought about this in my life. And all of a sudden, these 3 people have been attracted me on different occasions throughout this week. And I was like, oh yeah, you're getting activated. I like very kind of tried to briefly describe what that means, and his soul is awakening, and so he's attracting to him these people who mirror this back to him and who give him information or just energetically activate within him his own capacity to ascend his consciousness and to raise his frequency. That's what I'm seeing that you do. Group number 3, you're a heart activator. You unlock things for people. So allow your ambition to guide you. When it's heart-centered, it's going to expand for yourself. It's going to raise your consciousness, and it's going to help you to heal and to, by extension, indirectly or directly heal others as well through the activation that you embody, through the frequency that you embody, which acts as an activation, I should say. A little hair on there. Anyway, so that's what I see for you, group number 3. You're an activator. You're here to heal, to embody, to build, and you're definitely a heart-centered being, so embodying 5th dimensional consciousness and above. And if you are looking for some support in activating this within yourself, then you can by all means check out the Soul Song activation, which is available on my website. The link is in the description box below. My website is itstarotandbeyond.com, and you can take a look at the Soul Song activation. It's a short little recording that Spirit had me channel through. It is an energy activation that raises your frequency and allows you to unlock within you your own authentic divine self-expression and express that in a way that's empowering for yourself and the world. And you can use it as a subliminal reprogrammer. You can, listen to it before bed or in the morning, or just even when you're driving in the car, because it's not a super, super intense activation. It's more subtle, but it's powerful nonetheless. So let me know if you have worked with that Soul Song activation, or if you end up getting it and then listening to it. Let me know how it works for you, because I know that it works because Spirit channeled it through me, and I just trust what comes through because I feel that it's aligned. But for each of you, it might have a different outcome or might have a different feeling to it. I've had some positive reviews from a couple of clients who have purchased it in the past. So let me know, though. I'd love to hear feedback. All right, guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and contributing your energy to this reading and allowing me to tap into your sacred soul song and mirror that back to you. Let me know how this resonates, if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you have inspiration for new pick a card topics, leave them in the description box, or not description, leave them in the comment section below. I'm always interested to see. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.